episode 100 and... Well, apparently I dropped things. That's a feature. 164. The series where I apparently do things. Anyway. I'm starting a bit later tonight. How late are we? Yeah, 15 minutes. Sorry, I had to take a phone call. But hey, these things happen. I'd also like to point out that I am starting work in a new place tomorrow. And I don't want to go in there half sleep deprived because I was up late streaming and or gaming. So, this will not be a long stream by any means, right?
Have you ever been so inebriated that you tinkle your brain?
So, yeah, that's kind of a gist of it. We're going to continue the sorting because we're getting somewhere with this. I really want to, by Friday, well, it's a rough estimate. By Friday, I want to be touching the stuff behind me there. Hate these. I was adjusting these and I really need to replace these. These are really goddamn crappy. But a moment. I'll be back for about an hour. Sure. What? Right, 1 second. I am gonna go get a sandwich and then we'll get started. But pretty much, yeah. This stream, like I said, will not be a long one purely because I just don't want to go in here tomorrow, first day at this job and be like, well, here we are, tired. Why? Well, I stayed up all night gaming and streaming. So, like I said, this live will have a bit to it, but not too much. It's more just a continue the process of doing a few different things. What? on then. Go. Come on then. Get in the box. See? Wait till I get the box. Yeah. Again, I do apologise for the little interruptions there, but what we're going to do is we're going to continue prepping the room for the room tour video. That's one of my facial hair there, that's fun. Checking this notification while we start. Anyway, so here's what I'm thinking, right? I've been trying to figure out an ideal time for that video to come out. When will the room tour video release? Because I've had questions about that. Simple. I'm now aiming for within a month from now. So today's the 13th of June. I'm aiming by the 13th of July for that video to be out. Well, if you're from hello, I'm from the UK. But let's continue. So this is the stuff that we're organising, fixing, going through. It's all in here. I'm just going to empty this out of my bed and we can get started going through it. You know, there are some figures in here that don't need fixed. They just happen to be sitting here. Things like, you know, R4P17 just happen to be in there. We're going to put that in the Revenge of the Sith shelf, just like that. So there we go. We're already making some progress. But yes, that is the intended release date. I'm also going to be doing some stuff to my gaming setup in the stream as well. I'm just looking to get a lot done. I want this to be a productive stream. There's the C3PO. We'll throw him up here. There we go. I may have to pop in and out during the live stream. I'm doing this while I figure out how we're changing this setup over here. What else have we got to fix? No, right, that Obi-Wan needs a lightsaber. So that's that sorted. There we go. I don't plan to change the shelving again until that video comes out, or at least not right now anyway. I'll eventually swap out these shelves because I do change them every so often just to keep the display fresh, and I'm planning to buy something in the next couple of days. So when that comes and that's built, I'll change it up. Let's see. Classic R2-D2. We're just going to throw in the Phantom Menace shelf. Get him in there. But yeah, today I'm all about getting stuff done. Been having some ideas. Unfortunately, with today being Saturday, I really wanted it to be 2 streams, at least a couple hours each, because couldn't find the time. You ain't touching that today. And what else we got? This Bosk is ready to just go on. What else? That Ghost minifigure we're not going to touch in today's stream. Stormtrooper. Let's get his helmet. It's one of them classic style blasters, so it's kind of one of the cooler ones. Hey there. Anyway, so Stormtroopers are more or less just been placing just in different places, kind of spread them out somewhat in certain ways. So this one I'm going to put behind the Star Destroyer with a few other figures that are just walking past its engines. I don't know why, that just seemed to make sense to me. I'll be back in one moment. I'm going to get a drink. I usually just fill this up and it lasts an entire day, so I'm just going to do that again. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. But yeah, that's the estimated route date for that video to come out. It just really depends on as things continue to line up. It should be good. Thanks, man. So we've got phase 2 clone we're going to throw back on the shelf. Again, it's all about rebuilding the shelves, making them look good. See, well enough, whenever I've done room tour videos, there's a certain way I like the shelves to be. And I prefer that they're done to be each movie, because people always ask what movie I've got the most of whenever I do these videos. So I've just decided to tailor the videos to show that specifically. Right. Another phase 2 clone. These are minifigures where the helmets just pop off like that. I've got 2 sitting here as it is. No, those 2 are Stormtroopers, right? I'll do their separate then. But I have got quite a few of these phase 2 helmets that just keep popping up. Like we've got another one. Got to throw that one back on. But I'll do some minifigure stuff in this stream, and we'll do the gaming one, because tomorrow, so Sundays are normally quite weird for me, right? So there's get up at 6 AM, be in work for 7, and I'm there till 6:30 in the evening, get home at 7, so it's like it's a whole thing. But with this new location I've been moved to and where I'm working now, so I got like a job promotion and stuff like that. They're like, nah, just come in at 12:30 and stay till 6:30. So, so the forfeit there is it's quite a bit of distance travel wise. Like I've got to do all that, but it makes sense in a way, right? What else we got? That's not the non-Star Wars stuff. I'm not even touching right now. Like that'll get its own thing. We got one of the Naboo pilots from 2007 to throw back on. But this is the main shelf in the collection. This is just like, it's meant to be this main 6 movies. Of course, I have a 7th shelf, so I just threw all the bigger stuff from those movies up here, like the 2006 Star Destroyer, the Super Star Destroyers at the back, and we've got the Tantive in this plate here. There's just a whole bunch of Imperial stuff. When I do eventually change out this shelf, because let's be honest, that's bound to happen in the very near future. Got 2 Stormtroopers here I've got to find helmets for. Oh, there's another phase 2 clone fixed. I went through a phase of just constantly buying the episode 3 clones from 2005. I've got quite a few of them. I won't display my entirety of my clone army on the shelf, but it's the part of it that, in my mind, makes sense to have on constant display. Right, that's the wrong type of helmet for that Stormtrooper. Well, we've got a Leia here. Find her hair and we can get her up on to the UCS Falcon display. As that is technically where she should be. I do know off the top of my head there was a Leia hair in there. I've got a Han Solo here that I can just throw back on. But yeah, when I do change these out, I'm thinking 2 big Imperial shelves is kind of the way we're going to go with it. No, all real sets. All official, all that kind of thing. Again, that's the wrong era of Stormtrooper helmet, so that cannot go on. Right now, I'm more interested in trying to find Leia's hair. There we go. And I've dropped something onto the floor. Because on one of the shelves back there, I'll show you in a moment. It's the 2000. Everyone thinks this is a mock, but it is a real set. So I'm guessing it's mostly younger viewers that are commenting that, right? But if this is a real set, everyone thinks it's a mock. I'll show you. So this Falcon here, this UCS Falcon, is from 2007. It's the original UCS Falcon. And I've got the minifigures for the set in front of it. Now, back then, UCS sets didn't always come with figures. Whenever you did, they weren't really special ones. Got the plaque for it there. No, I don't have any mocks. I did build mocks at one point. That was something I used to do quite frequently. Not really so much anymore. But at one time, that was something I did on here quite a lot. The real reason that came to an end was things like different factors. Space. You got to have a decent amount of space to unlock. And I used to build quite small ones, granted. I have done the 2 big ones that were both building series on here. Granted, the last one was 6 years ago, but I'm to that point where if I'm going to build a mock, it has to be a really big mock. It has to be impressive. We've got a 212 Trooper from a few years ago. Those figures, I can't believe in a couple of months, as a 4-year-old set. I remember all the hype around that ATTE coming out. I've got it down there. I still think that's a good set. I think most people would agree with me on that opinion. Oh, and we can fix one of the many Stormtroopers. I, weirdly enough, have not intentionally built an army, but I do have a lot of these. These are the 2008 Stormtrooper, the ones that were released in the Death Star and a whole bunch of other sets from that era. But like I said, this stream is going to be a short one in comparison to how long I normally make them. I don't expect this one to do that well anyway, but we're 21 minutes in. We'll stick to the figures for a bit longer, and then I'm going to move over to doing the gaming stuff just so that's done. Because when I come home from work tomorrow, I wouldn't mind doing some of this, but I'd rather that was all sorted. We've got another one of these 2008 style Stormtroopers. It's probably my favourite one. See the helmets we've had for the last, 7 years. Never been a fan of those. The ones we've had since 2019, hate them. Right, Commander Cody from 2022. Where's his helmet? There we go. It's kind of him in Revenge of the Sith. Tonight, I'll be making a big order from Brick Rebellion. So for those of you who are invested in the two main series I have on this channel, Brick Rebellion has made a majority of the custom figures that you can see in this complete saga stand, as well as some other manufacturers. Well, see, because there's no Lego Batman games come out in the last month. Well, here's something cool that he's doing. He's doing a wave based on the classic game, which is another series I'm doing on here, which is something I've just recently started a few weeks ago. So I'll be making quite a bit of purchases in order to get that really going. Right. It's another Stormtrooper helmet, but it's a modern Stormtrooper helmet. It's another Phase 2 clone from 05 fix. How many of them have I got on the shelf already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 15 of them on the shelf, and there's probably still a good few that will end up going on. Here's one of those newer Stormtroopers. I'm going to throw that in the tentative because you can't see that too well. I like to have them on the shelf, but not as the main part of my display. I'm just not a big fan of the modern ones. If you're new here, I'm more of a retro kind of collector. Next, we've got a Snowtrooper ready to go. All right. So I'm happy we're making the progress I wanted to be getting done today. Not saying this will go down by a lot, but it'll go down something. I'm going to go to the toilet. I'll be right back. And here we are, I'm back. So, yeah, we'll do a bit more of this. I'm feeling like I'm getting in the zone again. I'm still separating out anything that is Clone Wars design. Here's a cool figure. This is the last time we actually got one of these. And what makes it different is the lines on the torso and the dotted mouth, but this was the last use of the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. That was in 2010, which still feels quite recent, even though it's not. Turn up the shelf. What else we got here? Well, a couple of these Kashyyyk Scouts, their helmets will not be actually not be hard to find. There's one. Also got one of the regular ones in here as well, actually, now that I see it. For context, all this stuff is complete. It was on my shelf until I rearranged the room a few months ago, but due to things getting, scratch my back here, things getting in the way, I've only recently been getting time to actually full on, you know, put things back on the shelf, get them looking good. Right. There's Commander Gree fixed, and both of his troopers, so they'll will need weapons. The standard blasters to the scout troopers, these are pretty cool. I wish I'd bought more of these. But for Clone Army 2027, I probably will, these guys. Right, let's get these on the Revenge of the Sith shelf, so they will be going just here where I've got the other Commander Gree. But the Commander Gree will need a weapon as well. Get him this blaster. So I'll do these troopers that I've got in front of me, and then what we'll do is we'll move on to getting the gaming stuff done. Like I said, it's also a phone battery thing as well. I didn't quite charge it enough for the stream. Got many for here that's complete. It's these Imperials from this third season of The Mandalorian. Let's get the Stormtrooper fixed. There we go. Get my blaster. Where's the blaster? But I think we've made a decent enough dent in the pile. The thing that I'm talking about buying, I'm also planning to buy a set as well. I've stepped into the bag of things I was sorting. That's not great. Stormtrooper. I've just added a whole bunch of these guys to Cloud City. Because, you know, you see quite a bit of them now. And it's just somewhere to have those figures that make sense. Right. You need a phase 2 helmet. That is your sword. Yo, how's it going? So this one fixed. There is now 17 or 18 of those on the shelf. All like I said, in 2023, 2024, I went nuts trying to buy as many of the 2005 Episode 3 clones as possible. I think the only bit that I've updated recently is the Shock Troopers. I've got a good amount of each. Something I wanted to do mocks and that with them, I never got around to doing. Just one of those ideas that didn't quite go nowhere. Right, Rebel Fleet Trooper we'll quickly fix. Just to get another one done. Yeah, I'm doing alright. How's yourself? Right, we'll put this guy here on this side of the tentive. Right. There's 3 more figures I'm planning to fix, and then we'll do the gaming stuff just so that it's done. So like I said, this would not be the longest stream ever. I'm not really able to make it long. So I just want to go in, since it's my first day in this place tomorrow, I want to go in like fully relaxed, refreshed, all that kind of thing. You know, I don't want to make a bad impression of it. We'll put on this fixed Chewbacca, you can see it will go on. So we'll get the blasters for these guys sorted now, so I don't have to pick them out. Whoa. So it's now just 3 helmets I have to find for these guys, and we'll be sorted. The most annoying thing is, right, I'm on the bet if I'd done this stream a couple of hours later, I would have done really well. What do you mean? Like, I can show you right now what I've got sitting around. So, we've got a regular there, a pilot there, siege trooper there, recon trooper there. I've got the original phase 2, sorry, phase 1 up there. So on the shelf, I've got both versions of the original shock trooper, right? Excuse me. So I've got white hips and the black hips, 3 there, and I've got 3 here. Here I've got 5 of the Star Corps clone troopers from 05, I've got a couple of the pilots, and then there's 17 there of the original. So 16 of them are the 2005. One of them, this one with the darker lines and dotted mouth, is the 2010 version. So that is pretty much just what I've got there for those. Oh yeah, the Commander 327th is up there. The Airborne is there, and I've got 2 of the Kashyyyk ones there. I hope that helps. And I want to add another Phase 2 plain white one there. So I'll find those 2 Stormtrooper helmets and we're golden. Then we're going to move on to the other thing I'm doing in this stream. That's one of the Stormtroopers fixed. This one will just be going on this landing pad here. Right, just got to find the Stormtrooper's helmet and we're golden. None of those helmets, those are too modern. That's a Rebel style helmet. Yep. I have a bag elsewhere that has parts in it, so if something's not here, it's entirely possible that it's there. And that's possibly something we'll just have to go look into in a different stream. No, basically I've got some of it bagged and put away in pieces in those drawers back there. But this is all the stuff that we took off on the previous display. And I've only recently just got round to actually sorting through and fixing the figures inside of it. But I am curious, if I was to put all my minifigures into one big bin, how much minifigures that ends up being. Well, it's not here, so we'll check that bag probably in tomorrow's stream. But let's get on to the other thing that we're here to do today once I bag all this up. But I'm happy progress was indeed made today. Right, there's other things in that box. I've got the instructions for the AT-AP sitting in there as well. Like I've been saying in the last few streams, everything I'm currently doing is room tour prep, but we're going to be reorganizing this setup here that I do my gaming on. That's the next thing we've got to do. So I think I've figured out a way to make it work better for me. So I'll take everything off here because I want to move the TV a bit more forward. Have things a bit more flush. I don't know, right? Because I've never actually tried to build my Imperial army ever, right? I do have a sizable army, but that's not as big, but not in the way my Republic army is. So my clone army, I've intentionally went out and spent idiotic sums of money buying clone troopers, doing all of that, like a lot of people do, and that's why that's big. My Imperial army is the opposite. That has just got big for all the sets I've bought over the years. So, Endor, Bunker, Imperial Shuttle, which is the one with all the Death Star stuff. The original TIE Fighter there, Super Star Destroyer, regular Star Destroyer. Not to mention, whenever I've bought bulk lots of minifigures, which is something I've done occasionally, I've gotten Stormtroopers, but Snowtroopers is the one I have the most of. I have a decent amount of Snowtroopers. Gonna take my disc out my Xbox 360 before we move it. Anyone wondering why mine looks funny? If you're not familiar, this is the Modern Warfare 2 version of the console. My Xbox One's just the standard one, as is the PS2. Right. So in my head, this worked. Whether or not this will work practically is a different story. But what? We're gonna find out if this was a smart choice or not, or I'll have to put it back the way it is and it has been for a while, which is all right. But I'd rather the TV was a bit more forward. But I don't want to hide the game consoles behind the TV. So I move this more this way. I can have the TV at the front, and I can have the game consoles kind of in a standing mode, so I can put it back slightly. Grab that from there. The PS2, I don't know, do I use this frequently enough, or do yeah, I use it a lot. Right. Now, am I playing with fire by having that there? Or would it work better the other way around? Like where it shifted more this way? One second, I need to test this. I'm going to lie down in my usual position when I'm watching. I want to fit my gaming position, but I'm going to sit in the chair for that. I'm deciding. See, in an ideal world, I'd have it like this, with the consoles on either side, but the unit isn't quite that size. Honestly, we all go through that stage where we're still growing as a collector. Right. Probably makes more sense to have it the long way this side. So if I sit back here, the TV's not at risk of being kicked by me. It's closer to where I am. Okay. So let's try this when I am sitting. It's just a camping chair I use when I'm gaming. I refuse to go buy a gaming chair. I don't see the point. A chair is a chair to me. We appear to have hit a slight snag with this. I mean, I could just turn it to face me. Maybe this will take me to want a game while sitting in bed a bit more. Oh. I'll be able to talk. I'll be able to actually, because this TV can swivel, which is not. If you're not aware or don't see it, I went backwards with TVs. So I had a 2025 smart TV for a while, and I got rid of it. And since I'm having a 2010 Sony Bravia, since I use older consoles, it makes those consoles look better. That was my logic. Right. So how would this look with the consoles? So the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One can actually stand up. So if I'm gaming, I can just turn it like that, and I'm sorted. But if I want to be in bed watching TV, I can turn it like that. That is a superior way to do this. Move that slightly so it's not knocking the console. What do we think? See, realistically, I'd like somewhere else to put the consoles, but I like having storage for clothes, so if I had to pick that, I don't know, if we all like it, let's see what this is like. Just trying the sitting down position a bit more just to make sure I'm comfortable with it. I'm thinking. See, there's still a gap between this, right, and the corner Ivar. And if I would find a unit that would fill that exact space, I couldn't. But I do like the fact that I can now turn it that way or turn it that way for gaming. I've got the option. So let's plug in the 360 again. The Xbox One, admittedly, I think I more use at this point just for watching stuff online. Like streaming services. I do use it for some games, like I do play a lot of Forza Horizon. And this is tangled, yay! Dear God. I suppose I'd probably just go back to using my wireless controller. I like this though. Movies, gaming. Movies, gaming. Makes sense. Also got a nice place to put things at the front like controllers and stuff like that. This is the wireless. This is the wired controller because I bought that. I had to replace my Xbox One like on short notice, and I ended up buying this one off eBay. And essentially it just came with a wired controller. I'm not the kind of person that uses these, but it makes sense. Alright, let's get the consoles on. The PS2 I do use, but just not as frequently maybe as the other two consoles. So I think with that, I don't really want it in front of my TV though. I mean, realistically, right, I could have it plugged in there. Actually, no, because where the wires go. In fact, there's probably no way to make this space work with the PS2. And I'd rather I wasn't doing a balancing act with this. It is sitting there, but I don't trust it. Ow, that was a bad idea. Right, so that cannot go there. Thanks, much appreciated. You're only seeing a small bit of it as well. Unless you've seen shorts or previous streams. The PS2 is going to go back inside the glass cabinet because I had it there while Terra had his PS5 in here. So it's going to sit there until I get that sorted out. Maybe it's the console that I will only pull out if I feel like I want to play it. And I can always just put it down on the floor or in front. But I'm typically not going to be doing... I more do playing with other consoles, but I do play... that's not even words. Right, Xbox One's cables. Need to put it back into it. That is a different kind of annoying. Right. Do I still have a side where that's plugged in? So that's the brick for the 360, but I think the brick from the Xbox One has detached. This is the PS2 cable, so I'm going to tuck that in a way that I can access it, should I want it. The AV for it is all plugged in, so it's really just a case of, well, do I want to play PS2? Then I pull that out. I'm actually going to tuck that between the two consoles here. So give me a stream and I will revert it back to the way it was previously. I do actually have another Xbox One brick somewhere. And I'm slightly tempted to take the lazy option and just find and plug that in instead. In fact, I'm like 90% sure it's over here somewhere. So that's the PSP charger. One second, I've got some notifications here. I just read it notifications. Cool. Okay, right. Do you know what? Since I know I have the second power source sitting here for an Xbox One, we're just going to use that. The reason I have a second power source sitting around for this is, like I said, I previously had an Xbox One that died. But I've kept the power system. I'll go behind this unit and go get it eventually, but I kind of don't want to do that now. And the bigger and slightly more annoying question is, I mean, granted, I'll be fine because I don't need it immediately. The other reason I upgraded or downgraded TVs was modern TVs basically require you to always have a remote in order to do anything with them. So should you be unfortunate and say misplace the remote and, you know, get unable to access it or something, you kind of end up screwed, which is not great. With these older TVs, they still have the power buttons and stuff on them. Now you find where the remote is. Are you taking a hit with the quality of the thing? Yes. But if you can live with the TV not being the most crisp quality in the world like I can, then you'll be fine. I hate the fact that a DS is considered retro. Because I'm older than the DS. Here's what I've got. I'll show you. Thanks, Matt. Right, I'll show you what I've got console-wise. So, console-wise, I've got up here, I've got a PSP, right? I had one of these years ago as a kid. That's something I recently picked up again. As far as game consoles go, I've got I've not got a PS1, but I have a PS2 that can play PS1 software, because all of them can. PS2 stuff, PSP stuff, Xbox One, and a ridiculous amount of Xbox 360 stuff. I'll show you the consoles. So my Xbox 360 is the 2009 Modern Warfare 2 one. It's a standard Xbox One, and I'm currently in the process of organising things, but my PS2's in there. I don't use the PS2 as frequently as I use the other consoles, so I don't mind having to unplug and replug occasionally, if that makes sense. Like, if I want to play that over one of the consoles there, I will just have to, you know, swap them out, which doesn't particularly bother me. What does bother me is I've put the remote somewhere and I don't know where. Yeah, here it is. I appreciate you sharing this channel. This channel has really started. I've been doing YouTube for the PSP. PSP is one of those things, like I said, I have a lot of nostalgia for. And it took me a while. See, trying to find a good PSP for a good price that hasn't been modified or anything like that is actually surprisingly annoying. Trying to find that kind of stuff. But I suppose as we get further away from the day it stopped being built, the harder to get. Not the case for all old style game consoles. Like, you can pick up surprisingly easy the Modern Warfare 2 360. I appreciate that, thank you. I'll give you a quick look. So we've got some of the stuff up here. This is all stuff based on the Complete Saga video game. And we're starting a series of Lego Batman 1. This is something I mainly do here on the channel. This is my main shelf. And this is my second, which we're still organising stuff, getting it all dealt with. But it's a work in progress. But yeah, Lego and gaming are the two main things I seem to do. So hopefully this controller's tuned into that console. Works perfectly. Right, we're going to switch source to make sure the 360 is all perfectly hooked in. Like I said, the PS2 will be the console that I pull out if I want to play, which I don't particularly mind. I'd rather have that on display than the Xbox One, but the Xbox One has YouTube, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime on it. The only thing with buying this TV now, I intentionally wanted an older TV, an old Sony TV specifically, because Sony, kind of in that era, considered to have made the best TVs. It being a TV from 2010, it's not a smart TV. It does have a lot of interesting features, like its interface. The interface in the TV is like the PS3 interface, but that's because it's 2010 and that console was the current console. Turn the 360 on, make sure that's all working. I've just got this console, well enough, special console, but it's sold with a basic controller. Make sure my wireless network adapter's working. Because I do need to replace that on this, but other than that, it's all good. There we are, I'm signing into Xbox Live on my 360. So when I'm in bed at night or just want to watch movies, I like the fact that I can turn it and it looks good. Or if I'm sitting here gaming on my chair, I can turn it. Because that's something I've weirdly noticed they've taken away from modern TVs. Everyone I know who has a modern TV, they are stuck on two stands either side of the screen, rather than like what this had, where it was both sides. Oh, sorry, a center stand that can be, you know, changed. Or, sorry, swiveled. But, yeah, that's kind of what we've got to on the stream. It is looking rather good. So, you know, got the movability of the TV, which I'm happy about. These are the, like I said, the two main consoles. I'm probably going to sit and play some 360 games, but the Xbox 360 is a console that I have a lot of nostalgia for. Same with the PS2. The Xbox One, I never got it. Well, no, sorry, I did. I had an Xbox One and a PS4 throughout that generation, and I didn't keep up with gaming as much in that era, and I've not kept up with modern gaming or pretty much whatsoever. But obviously, I came back to this because that just made sense to me. But I'll see you guys later on. Tomorrow's live stream, like I said, I am starting work in a new location tomorrow, and it's a lot further away, like a good distance away. So I get off shift at 6:30, but I don't know what time I'll be home. So stay tuned. I will keep you guys updated if you check the community tab. I'll see you in the next stream.